How's it going, everybody? Today I'm sitting down here with Brandon. He is someone who's turned something as simple as making coffee and matcha into an entire full-time creative career. But I don't want this entire episode to just be about caffeinated drinks. I also want to talk about what happens when doing something that you love eventually becomes your job. I know you do all this like coffee and matcha type content and stuff online, and you have I looked deeper into your Instagram. I know I met you at the Adobe thing. So you have like a background in photo and video and stuff like that. What inspired you to kind of change? Like I saw like a big drastic change at one point where your entire lane changed online, and what was kind of the thought behind that?
Yeah, I think back when I was still in college, that's when I started to get into filmmaking a lot more, just because we had a club in college that just had a group of creatives, and I think that part was just super fun. I always had a passion in filming, in taking photos. Yeah. And so I think we had a good group with that. And so I did a lot of freelance stuff when I was in college while I was doing pre-med. And afterwards, a lot of the inspiration comes from this guy named Matt Como. I don't know if you know him, but he's like a filmmaker. He was in that space where, do you remember that era where travel filmmaking was like this huge thing? Yeah. Everyone was doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Peter McKinnon,
Sam Calder, everyone like that. Yeah. So I was super into that scene at the same time. But I think for me, Matt Como was the person that inspired me the most. His work, his ethic, what he does, his editing style. So a lot of my info originally came from that. And so I love doing travel filmmaking, but I was also in college. I couldn't go places they would. And then I started doing more interior design content when I first moved out here in LA, just for fun. And then that's kind of where I started doing more. That was like my first, I think I started doing TikToks first, just like fun interior design content. And it kind of just started from there.
Yeah, but you always were super interested in like drinks like that?
Drinks, it was not as much. I had a good experience when I was in Japan, to be honest, like many people have. And so that's kind of where like that coffee stuff came from. I got more and more interested into coffee. And I was like, okay, I want to like experiment more with this stuff.
Were you surprised when you started doing that and it was like doing super well in the beginning?
Yeah, I think I got really lucky. I think it was a huge burst of luck, because the very first video I used to post on Instagram Reels, where I would only post to Reels, so it wouldn't show on my feed because I was a little bit embarrassed about it.
Right.
And then like yes. So it was like only to the Reels feed. And then the very first video where I posted it publicly to my feed was the first video where I did my home cafe in my older place. And it was like a simple video, text on screen, music, and it hit 1 million views. And I think I got so lucky that I got that like adrenaline feeling. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, like this is kind of nice. I might start doing a little more. Yeah. And then that's kind of just where I truly just got super lucky with that first video that I posted. And I was like, oh my God, this is just I gotta keep doing this.
I think a lot of what helped too, like sure, like there's luck with the algorithms and things like that. But I think that all that stuff you did before goes into what you did now, because you have like a better understanding than the average person who makes coffee of like filming and lighting and maybe even storytelling or whatever, even if it's not like scripted, you know, just like the way you're pacing everything. And do you think that like your eye for stuff like that has helped a lot in why people like your stuff?
Yeah, I think it's definitely improved. I'd say I know it's hard to train your eye to see things certain way or to film things certain way or edit things certain way, but I think I tell a lot of people who ask me this stuff, it's like once you do it more and more, I think you develop more of an eye for it, and then you also develop like the understanding of how important pacing really is. Right. And I think it just kind of comes naturally with practice. Like my editing and pacing was so bad when I first started filmmaking and stuff like that. So I just genuinely think like the more you watch, the more you edit, the more you do stuff. For me, that's kind of how it improved.
It's weird too, because most people's inspirations for film, storytelling, lighting, all that stuff, it comes from like a whole different world, you know? I mean, it's literally tipped the entire different way, you know? Like most people's favorite, no one's like my favorite director or whatever is like this TikToker. It's mostly like some, you know, like Scorsese or whatever. So it's a different, I think, beast, and like a whole different skill set to translate that into the vertical format, because most stuff's like centered, you know, ideally. You have a lot less room to work with. And I think, like you have to figure out a way to grab people's attention, but you also don't want to be too like brain rot with it, you know, and like overstimulate everyone, especially for something like what you're doing, where I feel like the reason people like it is because it's not that. It's very chill and kind of settling in that way.
It's also more just me. That's just kind of how I am. I feel like if you suddenly saw me post something absolutely brain rot, it wouldn't look right at all.
Yeah, it's a lot easier too to make stuff when the closer you are to who you are and your authentic self. Like I definitely play stuff up a little bit, and if I talked about things or presented things at my normal level, it sounds like I just want to die, you know? You have like when I overdo it, I'm like, oh, that sounds normal. Oh, man. But when I talk normal, it sounds like I'm just like the most depressed person ever. It's like one monotone take, you know? So I think there's definitely a fine balance of like being interesting, but not feeling like forced and fake like that, you know?
It's hard. I mean, especially with, again, doing vertical content, I have a thing where I try not to look at the whole like, oh, you have to place a certain way but you kind of sometimes you kind of have to, where it's like a lot of the times like everyone's eye is just focused on one place, and when they have to start looking at multiple parts of like their phone screen, the attention just like kind of blows. And so that's why most of my videos, some people might have noticed that everything's very, very centered, like very, very centered frame. And it's just the complete opposite of what we've been taught in real production, when it's everything is
that shit.
Just down the drain.
I think though it's true, like people really are really gravitating towards that stuff kind of like what you do, and like even longer form like interviews or like slower content on YouTube and stuff, because it's kind of, it feels almost like a rebellion to like the whole like last 5 years of like Mr. Beastification of everything. And I think everyone's literally like just overstimulated all the time, that sometimes you need something that feels like you're not being sold something, or you're not being yelled at, or there's not a million fucking text things popping up and shit. It's just too much.
100%.
And like I was thinking too a lot about how humans like gravitate a lot towards like rituals. So, you know, like even going for walks, making coffee, making matcha, like they're little things they have in their house. And do you think that is also a reason that people kind of like your coffee stuff, because it feels familiar and safe like that?
I'd say so. I think I've had some scenarios where people have said that, comments wise, DMs wise. I think I did a little thing where I had like a 45-minute video, 15-minute video compilation of me just like making drinks or something. And it's just straight ASMR.
Is it on YouTube or something?
It was on YouTube. Yeah. And then I've had people post stories where they are making coffee while they have it in the background. And I was like, in the comment section, I put something like, oh, tell your dentist to put this on their TV or something like that.
No, it's like the lo-fi 24/7 coffee mix.
Yeah,
to
I got the jazz in the background. Oh my god.
That's just one of my favorite weird compliments I get is people say like, I always say my stuff's like second monitor content, because they're like, oh, I'm designing and I'm watching your stuff on the side.
Exactly.
Or I'm at work listening to the podcast on the side. And it also feels like that takes even more pressure off for it to be super overstimulating, because they're not even really paying attention anyway. It's more like, oh yeah, look, that's cool. Or like, now I'm doing my own thing. Oh, that's cool. Like just kind of checking on the side.
Yeah, I think most YouTube videos nowadays, not most, but a lot of YouTube videos nowadays are just second monitor content. We're kind of just doing something on the side, at least me personally.
Right. But what I was kind of thinking about too is, you've kind of proven to me that you can take any random niche and kind of make an entire career out of it, basically. Something as simple as making coffee, building furniture, whatever it is. Do you think that that kind of translates almost to like anyone's hobby. Do you think anyone can do that if they come up with an interesting way to present it?
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, I truly think that if you are really passionate about something and you share that you're passionate about it, and everyone sees that you're not fake passionate, but you're really passionate.
Yeah.
I think that you can definitely do it. And that's just because people like to see passion. I think a really good example is someone we met, Koi-san.
Yeah.
How he paints, right? I'm so bad at painting. I can't paint for my life. But the storytelling and what he does online is really, really good, to the point that like I'll still watch his videos because of his passion and how like much work he like puts into it. And so even if I'm not personally interested in painting, I think it's truly just like the passion that anyone can just turn something, you know, that niche into something.
He also has similar to you, where I feel like it's pretty low energy, you know, like his visuals are really vibrant and the art he does is really the most energy in the video, because his storytelling is like very calm, and he's very similar to when we met him. And it's a real talent to take something like visual art and make people that don't like that care about it, because that's a big issue I see with a lot of creators in like art, design, photography space. Their entire audience is just other people that do that or want to do that. And I think you find real success and real fandom, or whatever you want to call it, when normal people that have nothing to even do with that actually connect with you as like a human, rather than just whatever like work you produce.
Yeah. And I tend to always just make sure that I'm sharing what I enjoy and not sharing things that'll help me grow.
Right.
I think that's the most important part on my end, is just to make sure that I'm literally sharing things that I personally enjoy, rather than like, oh, will this go viral or will this do a bunch of numbers? I think that's just more important.
It is. And it's like, you see this shit online sometimes where it's like, how to be authentic or something, and it's like you already failed, because you're watching like a tutorial on how that, maybe that's true for that person explaining that, but and that's the thing too, is sometimes it doesn't work, you know, like sometimes the thing that you like, maybe it can just be the thing you like, and it doesn't have to be like this whole business. But when there is that crossover, like nothing feels better than experimenting with like art or content or anything online, and it feeling a little scary because you're like, this is really my true self. This is something I want to share. But when it also like hits, it's like, that's the perfect Venn diagram crossover that everyone's searching for all the time, I think.
Yeah. Especially when we want to also always feel self-fulfilled in a sense.
Do you struggle with finding the balance of doing what you love, but not worrying? Like you have to worry about that stuff a little bit, you know? So
are you talking about more about like the career
just
side
like
of things?
The income, the views, whatever.
Yeah,
like how much do you take that into consideration when you're coming up with an idea or something you want to pursue?
Honestly, it still sucks if a video flops. To be honest, I used to be someone, actually sometimes I still am, when I post a video or when I post a reel or a short form and it flops, and I'm just sulking for the entire day.
Yeah.
But like, I'm trying to be better at that. And at some point it obviously still does matter, because a lot of my personal income does come from more sponsorships. I think with YouTube, I took out all my mid-roll ads. And so I only put in one mid-roll ad in the middle of the video, just because I realized my audience is watching my videos on TV.
Right.
It's harder to skip ads on TV.
Yeah.
And so I rather the viewer have a better viewing experience and be able to watch the entire vlog through and through. And that's more important for me, is that they're able to watch the vlog without getting like 1,000 ad breaks in between.
Right.
And so I prioritize that rather than the ad revenue in that sense, because I just want to grow that audience. And I think that's really important. And honestly, like the money for the ad revenue isn't significant enough for me to just feel like I'm missing out on it, because I would rather just have a better viewing experience. I've
had so many situations where I make a really good video on my main channel and I want to use like real music, and I'm like, fuck it, I want that more than I care about. And it's like, what? It's literally going to be like hundreds of dollars probably. It's like,
which still,
it's cool, but
it's cool. Yeah.
That's only like, I guess if you didn't do it ever and it never adds up, but sometimes you have to, there's certain thing that is more important than that, you know, and it needs that to finish the whole kind of packaging and story of it.
Yeah. And I learned that just, at least for my YouTube, there's like a stronger community there. And so, which is why I prioritize like more viewership building, more community building, and a lot of the income tends to just come from like sponsorships and stuff like that.
Yeah. How do you, I'm sure people would love to know, like, you don't have to get into anything super specific, but from the outside looking in, it literally looks like you just hang out in this really cool house and make like nice drinks and tell people that they taste good. And how have you actually made it into like a business though? What are some of your, I guess like different ways that you've built it out, like income wise and just like all that stuff?
Yeah, I think especially on short form, it's pretty easy to, I don't want to say it's easy to grow, but when I first started, I would post a lot of recipes. And that's what people mostly followed me for, was recipe.
And they save them and everything.
Yeah, and everything like that. And, you know, when you follow me, it's kind of like you're expecting more recipes because that's what you're here for, right? And so I think the point of realization was that A, I also wanted to do other things. And then B, if I wanted to develop my brand versus more just developing a page. Yeah. And so I realized I needed to do more storytelling that's more of me and like my life, and just like still slowly and surely incorporate coffee and everything else into it. And so that's kind of where YouTube also came in. That's kind of where I started doing some other content, like branching out of my short form to do like ceramics, to do like traveling and things like that, but still make it somewhat associated to coffee. And I think YouTube is kind of that nice space where you're able to build that brand where people are watching, you know, 20 minutes of you for you. Right. And so I think that's kind of where that, you know, important part plays in. And I think it's hard because if I just kept posting about drink recipes, I'm sure that'd be fine. But I realized that I wanted to build like my own brand of myself rather than just, you know, a page where I'm making drinks.
I think I know a lot of people who have had that same kind of crossroads. I've seen it a lot with myself too, and in like especially in design stuff, like on my main like short form and stuff. You get these people who it's like only tutorials, you know, and you post something that's not that, and no one gives a fuck at all because they never even cared about you to begin with. Right. And you have to, but that shit hits. So like you have to be okay with maybe an off season of building up that other stuff. That's why when I first was getting big into my main YouTube channel, I started doing more like day in the life, like vlog stuff, showing my work, not exactly telling you how to do it, but like explaining more of like the ideas behind it and the thought process. And maybe it doesn't always like go as viral as like, here's like 5 ways to do this or whatever, me pointing at like my screen. But I think that the views are more like meaningful. Like each one has higher value than just a bunch of like, it's like slop. It's like tutorial slop. Same with like, I think the shit that's all just cinematic with no real like substance, that's also kind of slop. Like it's just like color grade porn, you know?
I think some people still, I think it's still nice to have. And I think it's still nice because at the end of the day, it's their passion, right? That's what they like to do. And if someone only likes to post tutorials and share tutorials, that's like awesome. Like we always need that, to be honest. Like that's how like I started learning how to do production and everything like that.
I've just I've saved so many tutorials. I don't think I've ever 100%,
used one. Yeah. That's really? The problem. Well, never mind. But for me, on
YouTube, if I search something, that's when I like, if I like to find like some video from like 14 years ago of like some Indian dude explaining 100%, something on his computer. And that's like the best tutorial.
It's also like the most efficient thing ever.
Yeah. There's no like, what's up, y'all? Like I'm about to dive into like, they're just like already in the file explorer.
2-minute YouTube video.
You almost miss it because they're so fast. I love that. What do you think actually to go back to the other thing. So would you say like for your business, just how you make a living, it's mostly through working with brands and stuff?
It's mostly through working with brands.
Yeah.
I know there's a bunch of stuff with like commissions, with Yeah.
Oh, like
I don't know.
affiliate or
Yeah,
whatever?
affiliate stuff. I don't really do that stuff because I tend to. A lot of people I've seen. A lot of people might not have realized. I purposely don't promote. I think I've done like one or I think I've done like two. I purposely now don't do pay partnerships with coffee or matcha brands
I
specifically.
know. I was looking at your page. It's like that feels so obvious, and then it'll be like fucking T-Mobile or something, and I'm like, it works. But
Yeah.
do you think that because you want more like your opinion on the stuff to be
Yes.
like
So
unbiased?
yes. So I don't like to introduce bias in that case. I like to be like just 100% honest on what I actually like when it comes to coffee and matcha rather than having to. I also wouldn't fake like it, to be honest, but that's the reason why like every single time like I've had matcha brands or coffee brands come to me with like doing pay partnerships, I always nowadays like always say no. Yeah.
You're just like, I'll just take the gifts, but I'm not gonna.
I'll happily take the coffee. I'll happily try it. If I like it, I love sharing it.
Yeah, on
but
your
it's like
story or whatever.
if you guys are trying to pay me to say that I like it, I just can't.
Yeah.
Like not with coffee and matcha because it's so deeply rooted in what I do that I just can't be biased, and I rather share what I truly like.
I think that's really responsible because even doing a handful of those, there's like a paper trail now, and people can say, like, well, maybe this one's paid and we don't know about it, or maybe this. And I think it's better to invest in your brand or whatever you want to call it, or like your trust as this creator long term instead of taking like a quick paycheck or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's also like, I can't imagine these coffee companies have crazy budgets anyway. So it's like,
Not really.
yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just mostly because it's such a deeply rooted category that I can't just be biased on this stuff.
What do you think are like some of the biggest downsides to turning something that you genuinely love and a passion like this into more of a business and something that you actually need to rely on for, just to live?
Yeah. I mean, I think as content creators, it's always, your income is always fluctuating. You always have to, it's such a saturated market that you kind of have to try to adapt in your own sense and grow as an individual. Otherwise, just because a lot of companies, the marketing budgets aren't as high as before, obviously, as we've seen in the career economy. And because of that, I think it's important to try to change what you do. And it's easy to say like you have to be different. Like it's like the easiest thing to say, but it's also one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah. Has it taken away like the joy at all of like making drinks from you?
To be honest,
business?
To be honest, no. Like I feel super privileged and spoiled to be able to do this as my full-time job. And I think I will never take it for granted because, like it's such a unique job. Yeah. Because I was also working more at a company. And so like being self-employed, being able to be my own boss and do what I enjoy doing. It's a risk, obviously, because if you don't work, you don't get money, which is
right.
a little bit horrifying. You don't get a paycheck every 2 weeks, but
yeah.
At the same time, it's also the most satisfying and the most privileged job.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I don't feel this way, but I think the stresses of worrying about that aren't as bad as how it's just stressful like a normal kind of job grind is. And there's a lot of benefits to it. Sometimes I'm like, I fucking fantasize about just having like a job that's not even a design job, like just another
Something
full-time
else.
job. So, cause the grass is always greener, but I do have friends who get paid fairly well and they have these jobs that they like them, but it's literally their job. And it's kind of nice to see like when we're out or on the weekends, like it's like that doesn't exist. My brain is like thinking about a million things at once and I'm working like all the time, even if it's not physical work, it's like in my brain,
Yeah. My Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday don't exist for me anymore. It's 1 through 7.
Yeah.
It's just
real.
1 through 7.
What do you think your ideal work situation would be like? What job would you want to have if you couldn't make money off just like the video stuff? Like let's say it was would you want to work like in a coffee shop or have your own cafe? Like what would be kind of your dream if the money didn't matter and you could kind of do whatever you wanted with that stuff?
I mean, ideally, it'd be nice to open a shop. To be honest, most people also don't know, but I don't have like formal training yet. So I actually wanted to work at a proper coffee shop and get that like formal training, because it's quite different being like a home barista versus being a barista. Just it's mostly just the pacing of work and stuff like that,
customer service,
everything like that. So I think I would love to work at a shop if I wasn't doing this full time. I genuinely next year I might. Just to get some more experience, but I also don't want to be the guy who asks a shop if I can only work twice a week.
Right.
That's pretty BM, but you know, that's ideally like if I wasn't doing this full time, I think I would love to still work at a shop just to get more experience.
If it did work out, that would be like an interesting thing to talk about too. Like you'd have all these findings and like, I guess lessons or videos, even more like stories you could tell and kind of bake it all into what you're already doing.
Yeah, that, or I would love to go to, someone needs to invent bartending school without the alcohol. I need to find a bartending school that doesn't involve alcohol, which sounds so stupid.
Like,
but do you know what I mean? I want to learn the technical aspects,
the presentation and all that.
Presentation, the equipment, the science behind things, without having to drink all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
I need someone to make that. Yeah,
it's like the non-alcoholic bartending school.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
That sounds like probably the least lucrative idea ever. maybe not with nowadays, because that shit's so popular. But who knows? Do you have to drink a lot, you think, when you're doing that?
I feel like you have to
try it, huh?
You have to try it. Yeah, because I think the alcohol is like a big part of the flavor, right? So I'm assuming you have to at least drink to.
And then if you keep messing up, you're getting like hammered because you have to keep redoing it.
Exactly.
Do you ever get that way with caffeine?
Oh yeah. I'm quite caffeine sensitive. Yeah. Okay. Which is contrary to, you know, what it looks like, because I have to try so many drinks. But which is why like sometimes recipes take me so long to post. It's because like I don't want to be drinking so many things that I don't want to waste things.
Right.
So
do you ever feel, because I feel this way sometimes with kind of the brand and the just what's it called, reputation I've built as like I'm just like this design guy, right? I do a lot of different things, but and it's not even to anyone's fault. Like it's almost a good thing. Like I've built that so well that people almost can't separate me from that anymore. Yeah. It's even like you're asking me like, oh, is this for that like design thing? And that's fine because there's a double-edged sword, the other way around. It's bittersweet. But do you ever feel kind of trapped as like, oh, I'm this matcha dude?
I think before, yes. Before, when I was doing only recipes. But I think nowadays it's quite different. It's pretty funny because most people who nowadays will come say hi to me like in public or in coffee shops or whatnot, they always say that they love my YouTube videos. It's very rare nowadays that they say that they like my recipes or my Instagram or TikTok. I think just because like you have that audience that's watching you for 20 minutes and you're building a story and community off of that.
It's so much more impactful. A lot of people I know and myself too, I've had people talk to me in public before, and 90% of the time they talk about YouTube. And even if the viewership is like 10-20% of the short form, or sometimes they talk about my work itself, that's the most like that's the best thing, you know, because that's what I want. But when they say the YouTube, like I'm not like mad about it, but I'm like, oh shit. You sometimes forget because it's maybe not the most like lucrative or the most like kind of viral or like dopamine hitting, but that's what the people actually remember. And I've had people tell me like they have these whole careers based off like learning stuff or learning from me talking about things. And that's pretty cool because when you're making shit by yourself all the time on like a computer, it's all just numbers. Like it's not real humans. And then like 5 people talking to you is like getting like 1 million views, you know?
Yeah. That feeling is great for sure.
So I feel like you in a coffee shop, that's like the most likely place people are going to talk to you.
It's pretty likely. Yeah, definitely. I think, but it's nice though. I think at least the community that I have, they're all very, very wholesome and very, very welcoming and very kind.
Your kind of day-to-day work life look like right now?
Now it's a little bit hectic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waking up, obviously gotta make coffee first thing, priority.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise I'm just not functioning. But usually I would get up, morning routine, and then I would try to film for the majority of the day. And then usually if I am working on like a sponsor post or anything like that, I would just have to work on it throughout the whole day. And then I would just edit right after. It's a pretty simple work day, I'd say. A lot of the times I'm also, at least nowadays, like I'll be traveling. August, I'll be like out of the state for like a good amount of August, which very privileged to do. But nowadays it's like nowadays I'm prepping for my next home cafe.
Oh yeah.
So now I got to do a bunch of content for that, and then prepare a lot of drinks, do a lot more experimenting.
What do you expect out of that? Do you expect a lot of people? Like, is it intimidating? How do you
It's not
feel about
intimidating at all. It's like people that I already know.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
it's still my home, so unfortunately I can't invite complete strangers
Right.
and have the public come over, but maybe one day, maybe the day I move out and I just
Yeah.
keep this here, I'll be like, everyone should just come over now because everything's moved out.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that'd be
and you
fun.
just have boxes everywhere.
Yeah, and it's
set
just
up.
my coffee. Yeah, exactly. But
I've been to something like that before. I have a friend, Duan. He has this thing like Red Coffee, and he would do them like over like in more 626 area, but he would do these pop ups or also in LA. But it's pretty cool because it's like slower, but you don't feel like you're waiting for like something you bought. You're just there talking and hanging out with people.
Yeah, these are mostly it's friends or mutuals that my friends bring. And so everything in here is like, I host it. I think I cap it at like 40 people max, which is a lot for like a home cafe situation. But it's also just like all the drinks are free. Everyone's just here to hang out and just like have a good time. And I'm just doing what I love. I'm filming, I'm taking photos, and trying to also enjoy my home cafe rather than work a shift the entire time. Right.
You could also work with people who make like baked goods and shit.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I try to do that. I'm trying to like, get more people who are, for example, chef creators or, other creators who want to use the space to, co-host something, working with other illustrators. Like for this home cafe, I'm working with, she's a super talented illustrator. She's doing like these coffee cards that you get. So I'm having her do like an illustration for each one
like
and just put it on the tray.
Descriptions and everything.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Doing like a nice drawing, all that.
What have you, what are some cool things you've learned about making coffee or matcha or any of that from different countries that you've been to?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think each country, we're pretty different in the US, at least in LA, where we love creative drinks. Like we love the triple matcha cream top, vanilla matcha bean syrup, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
The fridge sig and all that.
Yeah. Which is like 1,000 calories per cup. But guilty, I used to like that too. But I think a lot of the other countries that I've been to, I think take Singapore and Copenhagen as a good comparison, where there's a shop in Singapore that likes to do a lot of creative drinks and uses a lot of like culinary techniques to make these drinks. Like I think it's called Big Short Coffee, but they recently on their summer menu, they had a drink where they would attach like a sugar helium balloon. I don't even know what they're doing over there. Dang. But it's pretty crazy. It's pretty cool. Definitely check them out. And their drinks are pretty good. Like, but they're doing some crazy techniques and some really fun stuff, and with just unique flavors like mango sticky rice with like a rice cream top, stuff like that. That's and then cool. There's shops, for example, that's not all Singapore shops, but for example, in Copenhagen, they're more focused on like straight coffee, just like straight either pour overs, cortados, everything like that. So I think, but that's just kind of how the culture and the taste is over there versus, somewhere like Singapore, where there's a lot of shops that are trying to do the more like cream top, like fun drinks and stuff like that. So I think I've learned that it's just different in each place, but you get to see what they like. And at the end of the day, I realized that like in LA, we just like this stuff. Like most people like this stuff. And in order for coffee shops to stay alive, which is really hard because there's so many coffee shops opening in LA nowadays that everyone loves going to the soft opening. Right. But after that, it's like, how do you continue to stay in business?
And they're all just hunting for this like weird viral TikTok drink.
It's just like the initial growth, and it's like it's hard to like continuously stay alive. And so I think it's just very different, and people just have like different audiences when it comes to coffee shops in different countries. Yeah,
I've noticed that even with like food, when I was in like a lot of places I've been to in Europe, especially Italy and France, they the food's almost like not what you would expect. Like it's so not, there's not a lot of like, even not to say there's no seasoning, but like everything's more simple. And the angle that they're having is that it's not just the flavors, but it's like, oh, every part of this is like the freshest ingredient, or this was just made here, or this is like organic or whatever. So it's a lot different from, I feel like, in the US, where we have like this whole like cultural like mishmash. So you'll get like the most insane things. Like it's like, fucking like Korean birria or whatever, like shit like that. Where
like more fusion.
Yeah. And which is just like, it's all about like this like impactful flavor that everyone's like, you have to try this. But other places are like, it's almost like a slower way of doing things like that.
Yeah. I mean, fusion cuisine is awesome, but it's just like, it's definitely, sometimes it is a lot. I think, again, it is like different, where at least similar to some places that I ate in Copenhagen, I think the Danish like design is very like straightforward, simple lines, simple stuff. I think there's some breakfast places that I went to, like they just take, I didn't get to go, but I know that there was this one breakfast place that would take their eggs super seriously. And it's just like the most basic scrambled eggs ever, but they take it super seriously, right? So it's like the most simple things, but taken in the most like serious way, versus trying to make like a bunch of foo-foo and, trying to make it all fancy and stuff.
It's like the, whatever that quote is, where don't fear the man who's practiced 1,000 things, but one thing 1,000 times. It's like these scrambled eggs will change your life.
I gotta try them.
I like that though. I think there's a good balance, in between like creativity and coming up with new things, and then also getting really good at a select thing, and then that's what they want, they come there for that. What do you think is a coffee trend that is super overrated?
Ooh, okay. I think I'm gonna get flamed for saying this, but I don't really like geisha coffees, which is technically one of the more like higher end coffees. I don't know if you're familiar, but they're just like one of the more higher end coffees. And so it's more expensive, and obviously respect to the farmers, respect to the producers and everything like that. But I think I've learned to like the simpler ones now. And I feel like for me, it's not worth spending. Like, I think I was at a coffee shop the other day, and it was one of those coffees was going to be like $45
for a cup. Fuck that. That's crazy, dude.
Which no, like the coffee itself is great. It's like, it's very, very high quality. It is like very, carefully sourced, produced, like respect to all the farmers for doing that. But I think it's like, do I personally want to spend $45 on a cup of coffee right now?
So the bag's like $500.
I hope not. I hope not. But I mean, it's just, I guess it's not more overrated. It's like something that I probably wouldn't suggest people order on a shop.
Backtrack. He hates some guys. He hates those coffees. Do you think that like that's a good example of what I wanted to ask you about? Is I feel like sometimes I'm a victim of this, where like anytime I have an interest, I start to lean a little bit too like pretentious about it. Like I want to have the best stuff of like playing like vinyl records, or like only single origin coffee, this and that. Do you feel like the coffee industry in general kind of takes itself too serious with that stuff sometimes?
I think nowadays, with honestly, especially in LA, with more shops opening and with more people trying to stand out more and more, I don't think it's pretentious if the coffee shop actually truly cares about the roaster, they care about the farmers, they care about where the coffee's from, the quality of making the coffee. I think there is not I still don't think there's a huge audience for specialty coffee. Like,
Yeah.
it might seem like there is, but I truly, truly believe, like, if you look at it more holistically, like, the specialty coffee audience is nowhere near as big as like the casual coffee audience
Right.
who just wants like their
It's also
latte
like
as soon as possible.
a privileged subset of people that are down to spend that. You know?
Yes, and it is very pricey. And I was in a coffee farm in Brazil actually a couple of weeks ago, and
that's
I
cool.
kind of learned about the whole process. And I was like, wow, like just seeing all this and how much goes to making a cup of coffee, and seeing the farmers and producers, roasters, people who QC the coffee, everything like that. The price is justified. Like
Yeah.
it really should be. I don't want to say more. But it should cost what it costs based off
Yeah.
of the amount of work that goes into it.
But when it's warranted, I think it's different than when it's just like branding, you know,
yeah.
when there's actual, cause it's sad that we live in a world where like doing something the right way makes stuff cost that much more. You would like to think that everything was that way, but it's not, sadly. That's why I really like, there's this coffee shop called Slow Bloom. They're in like Redlands, I think. And they're all like a co-op, the entire business. And they, you can go on their website, or even on their bags of coffee are like named after the farmers and stuff.
Yeah.
So you can track
Yeah.
the entire like, whatever the journey of the thing. And it's cool to like see them give credit like that and stuff. And it's still like not obscene, like the pricing and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a lot of it is justified in a sense that like if you have a roastery that roasts the coffee and treats the coffee like super well and comes out with something quality, I think it's always worth what it's cost.
Before we get out of here, one of the last things I wanted to ask you is, what is the best and worst coffee shop experience you've ever had?
Yeah, I think in LA at least there's, I'd say like 3 coffee shops that I really, really like. One of them is Mandarin. Mandarin does a great job on probably all aspects of coffee. They're also super experienced in what they do, and their coffee selection is absolutely amazing. A lot of options there. And their Mandarin 2 location has more parking, more seating. It's just like a very like sit down atmosphere. It's super nice. There's another one called Quat, which is also super nice. It's over in Glassell Park.
Oh, cool.
Very, very nice campus. It's like they have a retail store on the left side and then the coffee shop on the right side. So you can like walk into the retail store, buy coffee, buy other things. And then there's a bunch of outdoor seating. It's just like a nice little campus.
Yeah.
Also free parking, which is super nice. I base a lot of my favorite coffee shops nowadays on if they have good parking.
Yeah.
It's so important in LA because if I go to a coffee shop and I can't find parking for the life of me before I go in there, I'm already overstimulated.
Yeah. And you haven't even had your coffee yet.
And I'm
so
just
you're
like,
all
I don't even want to be
pissed.
here. I kid you not, I have genuinely drove to a shop, not been able to find parking, and I rage quit and I would go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, even if your coffee is amazing, like, unfortunately, like, I just can't, if I can't find a parking spot, I just,
Yeah.
I have
No
to get out of
coffee
there.
is good enough to drive around like those one-way streets in circles for 20 minutes.
No, I can't. Yeah. Worst coffee experiences? I had this absolutely horrendous, treacherous mango matcha latte at a shop. I'm not going to say which shop, but it ruined mango matcha for me because it just tasted, I don't know how it was possible. It just tasted like straight water. Everything canceled each other out. And I just, from that day on, have been a mango matcha latte hater for the rest of my life. And it's so bad to say, but that's just what happened.
All right. Yeah, there you go. We're lucky you didn't name it because.
Yeah, I'm not gonna name it.
But
no.
now you have to tell me because then I don't want to have to go get it and be just as disappointed.
I think the likelihood of you going there and getting that is like 0.00.
Okay,
I don't think
perfect.
you'll ever run into. No, yeah, it's
All
just
right,
such
dope.
a rare occasion.
Well, shit, man. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. It was super cool to talk to you about all this stuff. And make sure you guys check out all Brandon's stuff, YouTube, Instagram. He makes super nice drinks, super nice videos.
Yes.
It's all good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, bro. Thank
Appreciate you. Your treatment isn't recording.
Yeah, it is.
Just oh no, I'm just fucking with you.
Damn, you got me.